Welcome, traveler of knowledge and seeker of calm. Tonight, or today, depending on when your journey begins, you are invited to drift into a soothing geography voyage. Geography is more than maps, more than borders, more than memorizing capital cities. It's the story of Earth itself. The mountains that rise with patient force, the rivers that carve their way through history, the cities that glow with the pulse of human life. In this video, you will discover 60 essential geography facts that everyone should know. Facts that are not trivia alone, but guiding threads, things that explain how our continents formed, why climates differ, how cultures grew from landscapes, and where humanity has chosen to settle. Before we begin, I gently ask if you find these quiet explorations valuable. If they help you relax, study, or sleep, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Not out of urgency, but as a way of joining this community of calm learners. And I invite you to leave a comment, sharing your country, your city, and even the time of day you are listening. It's a small way for us to see just how wide and connected this community truly is. And with that, let's step into the first essential truths of our world. Did you know that Earth has 7 continents? But the way we count them changes depending on where you are. In most of the Western world, children learn about 7: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Yet, in parts of Europe and Latin America, Europe and Asia are considered one landmass, Eurasia. Some schools even merge North and South America. Geography is not only about the landed, is about the landed, is about the lenses through which humans view the land. Let's stay with the continents a moment longer. Covering nearly 1/3 of the Earth's total land area, it stretches from the icy edges of Siberia to the tropical islands of Indonesia. Its sheer diversity makes it home to almost 60% of the world's population. When we talk about global culture, economy, technology, and history, Asia is always at the center. Africa, the second largest continent, is not only the cradle of humankind, but also the only continent that stretches across all 4 hemispheres: north, south, east, and west. That unique position explains its incredible climate variety, from the dry Sahara Desert to the lush Congo rainforest. Africa's landscapes shape trade, agriculture, and even tourism, drawing millions to its natural wonders. Europe, although much smaller, has had a global influence far beyond its size. Its geography, with rivers like the Danube and the Rhine, with peninsulas like Iberia and Scandinavia, enabled centuries of exploration, commerce, and cultural exchange. North America and South America together stretch from the Arctic Circle to the southern tip of Patagonia, offering nearly every biome on Earth: tundra, desert, rainforest, grassland, and mountain. Their geography explains their role in food production, luxury travel destinations, and booming economies. Australia, often called the island continent, is remarkable for its isolation. That isolation gave birth to unique wildlife: kangaroos, koalas, and wombats that exist nowhere else in the wild. And finally, Antarctica, a land of ice, mystery, and resilience. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent. Yet, beneath its frozen surface lies an archive of Earth's climate history, locked in layers of ancient ice. Each continent is a character in Earth's unfolding drama. Each has landscapes that determined where civilizations rose, how economies flourished, and where cultures intertwined. And though we often divide them into neat categories, they are deeply connected. The oceans unite them. Trade flows between them. Technology links them instantly. And so, our journey into essential geography begins. We've sketched the continents, but next, we will drift toward the oceans, the vast bodies that cover more than 70% of the planet, that regulate climate, and that remain humanity's greatest frontier. The continents may seem like the stage of human history, but the oceans are the silent giants of Earth, covering over 70% of its surface, shaping climate, feeding billions, and connecting cultures through travel and trade. Without the oceans, life as we know it could not exist. There are 5 recognized oceans: the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, the Southern, and the Arctic. But here is an essential fact: these oceans are not separate bodies in truth. They are one continuous, interconnected, global ocean. It is humans who gave them names and boundaries. The Pacific Ocean is the largest, holding more water than all the world's land combined. At its widest point, it stretches over 19,000 kilometers, from Asia to the Americas. Within it lies the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, plunging nearly 11 kilometers beneath the waves. To imagine that depth, picture Mount Everest. If Everest were placed at the bottom of the trench, its peak would still be submerged under more than a mile of water. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest and perhaps the most historically significant for human exploration. For centuries, it has been the bridge between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. The Gulf Stream, a powerful Atlantic current, is one of the reasons Western Europe enjoys relatively mild winters compared to other regions at the same latitude. The ocean itself is a climate regulator, a conveyor belt of heat and energy. The Indian Ocean, warm and bounded by Asia, Africa, and Australia, is a highway of culture and trade. For thousands of years, its monsoon winds guided merchants and explorers. The Swahili coast, India, Arabia, and Indonesia all flourished because of the predictable cycles of these winds, which carried spices, silk, and stories across vast waters. The Southern Ocean encircles Antarctica, and it is the youngest of the oceans. Officially recognized in 2000, its currents act like a great conveyor, linking the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans together. Scientists call it the guardian of the global climate. For the Southern Ocean absorbs immense amounts of carbon dioxide and distributes nutrients to waters across the globe. And then there is the Arctic Ocean, the smallest and shallowest. Covered in shifting sea ice, it is home to polar bears, narwhals, and hardy Inuit communities. Though remote, it is rapidly changing, with melting ice opening new shipping lanes and sparking debates over economy, tourism, and international law. Here is something soothing but profound. The oceans breathe with the earth. Through the process of photosynthesis, tiny organisms in the water, called phytoplankton, produce more than half of the oxygen you are breathing right now. Every calm breath you take owes itself, at least partly, to the unseen work of these drifting microscopic plants. The oceans also create patterns of connection. Consider coral reefs, those dazzling underwater cities. They cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet they are home to a quarter of all marine species. Reefs support fishing economies, tourism industries, and protect coastlines from storms. Yet, they are delicate, threatened by warming seas and acidification. They remind us how geography is not static, it is alive, shifting, vulnerable. Another essential geography fact is the role of oceans in human culture. For Polynesian navigators, the Pacific was not a barrier, but a highway. Using only the stars, the wind, and the swell of waves, they charted voyages across thousands of kilometers, connecting islands like Hawaii, Samoa, and Tahiti. Their knowledge of currents and skies was a kind of technology, one rooted in deep intimacy with nature. Similarly, in the Indian Ocean, trade winds carried goods and ideas for centuries. In many ways, globalization began on those waters long before modern airplanes or satellites. So, the oceans are geography's hidden foundation. They explain why climates differ, why cities grew where they did, why civilizations thrived or struggled. They are the Earth's lungs, its memory, its highway. As we move from oceans to the land again, let us explore another crucial layer of geography, the climate and biomes of Earth. For while the oceans regulate the planet's temperature, it is climate that shapes human settlement, agriculture, economy, and even the stories we tell. To understand the geography of our world, one must pause and consider climate. It is more than weather. Weather is what we feel in a single day. Rain tapping against windows, the crisp bite of winter air, or the heavy heat of a midsummer afternoon. Climate, however, is the long memory of a placey rhythm of its seasons, the tone of its skies, the quiet pulse that has shaped ecosystems, civilizations, and entire economies. Geographers divide the world's climates into categories, often using the Köppen system, named after Wladimir Köppen, a German climatologist who sought to organize Earth's variety into understandable regions. This system is not merely academic. It is the foundation for understanding agriculture, tourism, energy use, and even patterns of culture. Let us begin with the tropics. Tropical climate are those that rest near the equator, bathed in near-constant sunlight. Think of the Amazon basin, the Congo, and the islands of Southeast Asia. Here, the air is humid, the forests lush, rainforests thrive, filled with biodiversity beyond imagination. Orchids, jaguars, toucans, and medicinal plants still undiscovered. These regions are sometimes called the Earth's lungs, producing immense amounts of oxygen and absorbing carbon dioxide. But they are also fragile, threatened by deforestation and changing rainfall patterns. Move outward from the equator, and we encounter dry climates, deserts, and steppes. The Sahara, the world's largest hot desert, stretches across northern Africa like a golden sea. Yet, contrary to common imagination, deserts are not lifeless. The Sahara hides oases, resilient nomadic cultures, and even ancient trade routes that once connected gold mines of West Africa to markets of the Mediterranean. In the Middle East, deserts like the Arabian provided both challenge and opportunity. shaping cultures that learned to adapt with ingenuity, camel caravans, water storage, and architecture designed for shade and ventilation. Then come the temperate climates where most of the world's population lives. These are the lands of 4 distinct seasons, such as much of Europe, North America, and East Asia. Here, agriculture flourished because of moderate rainfall and fertile soils. It is no coincidence that some of the world's great economies, like those of Germany, Japan, and the United States, grew in these zones. The temperate climate provides a balance: enough warmth for crops, enough cold to refresh the land, and enough variation to encourage adaptation. Farther north and south, we find the cold climates, the subarctic taiga of Russia and Canada, where endless coniferous forests stretch across the horizon. Here, winters are long and summers brief, but ecosystems endure: wolves, bears, reindeer, and hardy indigenous communities who have thrived for centuries, reading the snow as if it were a map. And then, at the poles, we arrive at the tundra and ice cap climates. Antarctica, where no permanent human population lives, is a land of extremes. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent. Yet it holds 60% of the world's fresh water, locked away in glaciers. The Arctic tundra, in contrast, supports people, Inuit, Sami, Nenets, and others whose knowledge of frozen landscapes rivals that of the Polynesian navigators on the sea. Each of these climates shapes not just ecosystems, but entire economies and lifestyles. Tourism thrives in Mediterranean climates, with mild winters and warm summers drawing millions to Spain, Greece, and Italy each year. Luxury resorts flourish on tropical coasts, where sunshine and coral reefs lure travelers seeking both relaxation and adventure. Meanwhile, agriculture in temperate zones feeds much of the world, from wheat fields in Ukraine to rice paddies in China. But climates are not static, they shift. Glacial ages have come and gone. The Sahara itself, today so dry, was once green, dotted with lakes and savannas where hippos swam. Today, scientists observe changes again, with warming patterns altering rainfall, sea levels, and even the courses of rivers. Geography is alive, and climate is its breath. One of the most fascinating aspects of climate is how it influences culture. The Japanese word hanami celebrates the fleeting blossoms of spring, while in Scandinavia, hige reflects the warmth of indoor gatherings in long winters. Architecture, too, mirrors climate: mud brick homes in hot deserts, stilt houses in flood-prone tropics, thick stone cottages in windswept highlands. Even cuisine is tied to climate. Spices thriving in humid zones, preserved foods born of cold winters. When you consider climate, you consider not just science, but the poetry of life on Earth. Every breeze, every rainfall, every icy storm or tropical dawn is part of a larger pattern that binds us all. As we breathe with these patterns, let us drift next into the fascinating world of biomes. Land, and life meet in harmony. From forests to grasslands, from deserts to wetlands, biomes are where geography touches the beating heart of nature. If climate is the breath of the planet, then biomes are its stage, where life performs in countless forms. A biome is more than a landscape. It is an entire community shaped by the balance of temperature, rainfall, and geography. Think of it as a natural neighborhood where plants, animals, and people adapt together in shared rhythms. Each biome has its own character, its own sound, its own palette of colors and textures. Let us begin with the tropical rainforest, the lushest biome of all. Here, every inch of space is alive. Towering trees form a canopy so dense that only scattered beams of sunlight reach the forest floor. The air is heavy with humidity, filled with the scents of earth, flowers, and rain. The Amazon, the Congo, and the rainforests of Indonesia are among the largest, and they are astonishingly productive. Within a single square kilometer, one may find hundreds of tree species, insects still unknown to science, birds with dazzling feathers, and frogs with calls like music. But rainforests are not just wonders of nature. They regulate rainfall across continents, store carbon, and provide medicines. Many modern drugs originate from rainforest plants. Culturally, they are home to indigenous peoples whose knowledge of the forest is profound, passed through generations in oral traditions, songs, and stories. From the rainforest, travel outward to the savanna. This biome is open, with golden grasses stretching toward the horizon, punctuated by scattered acacia trees. Africa is most famous for its savannas, home to elephants, lions, giraffes, and wildebeests. The cycle of dry and wet seasons shapes life here. Herds migrate, rivers swell, and predators follow prey in patterns older than humanity itself. For centuries, communities living in the savanna have developed practices of resilience, moving with the seasons, balancing herding with agriculture, and honoring the rhythm of the land. The grasslands, or prairies, form another kind of open biome. In North America, they stretch across the Great Plains, once roamed by millions of bison. In Eurasia, the steppes extend from Hungary through Mongolia. Vast spaces that supported horse-riding cultures like the Mongols, whose mobility changed history. Grasslands are known as the breadbaskets of the world because their fertile soils support agriculture at immense scales: wheat, corn, barley, and other crops that feed billions. Move into harsher zones, and we reach deserts. Biomes of extremes. Deserts may seem empty, but they hold secrets of survival. In the Sahara, cacti and succulents store water, while animals like the fennec fox have large ears to release heat. In North America's Sonoran Desert, saguaro cacti rise like green sentinels, sheltering owls and bats. Human cultures have long thrived here, learning to manage scarce resources, building dwellings that blend with the earth, and trading across vast, dry landscapes. At higher latitudes, the taiga, or boreal forest, dominates. These forests stretch across Russia, Canada, and Scandinavia, forming the largest biome on Earth. The taiga is a land of coniferous trees, spruce, pine, and fir adapted to survive cold winters and short summers. The taiga also provides timber, energy, resources, and cultural identity for the people who live within it, shaping economies as well as folklore. Then comes the tundra, where the ground is frozen for much of the year. In the Arctic tundra, plants grow low to the ground mosses, lichens, and hardy shrubs, while reindeer graze and polar bears patrol the icy edges. The tundra is a place of silence where light itself changes dramatically. Long winters bring polar night, while summers offer endless daylight. Indigenous cultures, such as the Inuit, Sami, and Nenets, developed intricate knowledge of this land, crafting ways of life that respect its delicate balance. We must not forget freshwater and marine biomes. Lakes, rivers, wetlands, and coral reefs each sustain life in unique ways. The Okavango Delta in Botswana floods seasonally, transforming desert into a paradise for elephants, hippos, and birds. Wetlands, like the Florida Everglades, filter water and support species found nowhere else. Coral reefs, sometimes called rainforests of the sea, host fish, sponges, and corals in brilliant diversity, supporting fishing economies and luxury tourism alike. Biomes are not just about plants and animals. They are about people. Human civilizations have always been tied to them. The Nile River Valley, in a desert biome, gave birth to ancient Egypt. The temperate biome of Europe supported agriculture that fueled medieval kingdoms. The Pacific Islands, scattered across marine biomes, developed navigation traditions so advanced that sailors guided themselves by the stars, winds, and ocean swells. Economically, biomes are treasures. Tropical forests hold timber, minerals, and medicine. Grasslands provide agriculture that underpins global food systems. Oceans support fishing, transport, and energy exploration. Tourism thrives where biomes display their beauty. Luxury safaris in savannas, eco-lodges in rainforests, skiing in alpine regions, diving in coral reefs. And yet, biomes are fragile. Human activity has altered them. Deforestation reduces rainforests. Climate change melts tundra, permafrost. Coral reefs bleach in warming seas. Understanding biomes is not only a matter of curiosity, but a matter of responsibility. Geography teaches us not only where we live, but how we must live wisely. As you listen, imagine these biomes as chapters of Earth's storybook. Each is a setting, a backdrop where countless tales unfold, tales of migration, adaptation, resilience, and wonder. Geography allows us to see them not as isolated places, but as interconnected parts of a whole. And with that, let us flow gently into the next theme: the mighty rivers and mountain ranges. The skeletal framework of continents guiding where civilizations rise, where economies flourish, and where borders are drawn. When we imagine the Earth, it is often the outlines of continents that appear first in our minds. Yet beneath those shapes lies something deeper: the framework of rivers and mountains that has guided where people live, how they travel, and how they build civilizations. These natural features are not merely scenic. They are structural, shaping culture, politics, and economy across millennia. Let us begin with rivers, which can be thought of as the arteries of the planet. They bring life wherever they flow, carving valleys, nourishing crops, and carrying people and goods. The Nile, stretching over 6,600 kilometers, is the longest river in the world. Flowing northward through 11 countries, it was the lifeblood of ancient Egypt, offering fertile soil through its annual floods. Without the Nile, the pyramids, temples, and hieroglyphic texts may never have existed. Even today, over 90% of Egyptians live within a few kilometers of its banks. Across the globe to the Amazon River in South America. Though slightly shorter than the Nile, it carries far more water, more than the next 7 largest rivers combined. Its basin is a green ocean of rainforest, producing a significant share of the planet's oxygen and regulating global climate. The Amazon is not just a river. It is a system, a world within itself. It sustains thousands of fish species, including the pink river dolphin, and countless indigenous cultures who have navigated its waters long before modern explorers arrived. In China, the Yangtze River holds another story. It is Asia's longest river, stretching over 6,300 kilometers, and it has nurtured Chinese civilization for thousands of years. Rice paddies, bustling cities, and ancient temples line its banks. It is also a river of immense economic power. The Three Gorges Dam, one of the largest engineering projects in history, spans its waters, producing hydroelectric power that supports millions of homes and industries. Here, geography connects directly to modern technology and energy. Not all rivers are vast, but many are symbolic. The Ganges in India is revered as sacred, a goddess in flowing form, offering spiritual cleansing to those who bathe in her waters. The Mississippi in North America has shaped literature, trade, and history, serving as a corridor of culture and commerce. The Danube, flowing through 10 European countries, has been a border, a trade route, and a unifying force, carrying with it the cultural heritage of Central Europe. If rivers are arteries, then mountains are the bones of the earth, shaping continents and climates. Mountains rise where tectonic plates collide, where the earth folds and thrusts upward. The Himalayas, home to Mount Everest, are the highest of all, towering above the clouds. But beyond their physical grandeur, they are cultural pillars. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the Himalayas are sacred, representing the home of the gods and the path to enlightenment. They influence monsoons, drawing rains that feed rivers like the Ganges and Brahmaputra, sustaining hundreds of millions of people. The Andes in South America stretch along the continent's western edge for 7,000 kilometers. These mountains host glaciers, volcanoes, and ancient cities like Machu Picchu, perched on a ridge above the Urubamba River. The Andes shaped the Inca civilization, offering terraces for agriculture, silver and gold for trade, and routes of conquest. Rich in minerals and opportunities for tourism. In Europe, the Alps provide another example of mountains as crossroads. They separate cultures while also connecting them, creating distinctive traditions in Switzerland, Austria, and Italy. They offer fertile valleys, fresh water from glaciers, and today, they are a luxury travel destination, with ski resorts, spas, and scenic railways that attract visitors from around the world. Geography here fuels both culture and economy. North America's Rocky Mountains tell a story of exploration and expansion, while Africa's Mount Kilimanjaro rises as a solitary giant, snow-capped on the equator. In Japan, Mount Fuji stands not only as a geological formation, but as a cultural icon, appearing in poetry, art, and religion. Mountains inspire awe because they remind us of the vastness of time and the endurance of the earth. Together, rivers and mountains dictate where borders are drawn and where cities thrive. Many political boundaries follow riverbanks or mountain ridges. The Rhine divides nations in Europe. The Pyrenees separate France and Spain. The Himalayas form the natural frontier between India and China. These features provide both security and challenges, influencing diplomacy, trade, and culture. Economically, rivers and mountains sustain industries. Hydropower, agriculture, forestry, and mining all depend on them. Luxury tourism flourishes as people travel to sail the Danube, cruise the Nile, or hike the Alps. Education, too, draws on their lessons. As students around the world learn about continental divides, watersheds, and tectonic uplift, spiritually, they are woven into human imagination. Rivers are often viewed as mothers, mountains as fathers. They appear in mythologies, in folklore, and in sacred rituals. To study them is to study ourselves, for geography has always been a mirror of humanity. As you relax with these images, imagine rivers as threads of silver weaving through the fabric of green landscapes, and mountains as monumental guardians rising into the heavens. They are the framework upon which life unfolds, silent yet powerful, eternal yet ever-changing. And with that, let us gently turn to the next theme, the continents themselves. Their vast shapes and hidden details, how they differ, and how they connect us all. When we zoom out from rivers and mountains, we begin to see the larger picture, the continents, those immense puzzle pieces that drift upon the Earth's tectonic plates. Each continent has its own character, its own blend of climates, cultures, and natural wonders. Together, they form the canvas on which human history is painted. Let us begin with Africa, often called the cradle of humanity. Fossils discovered in the Great Rift Valley suggest that modern humans first walked here nearly 200,000 years ago. Africa is immense, stretching across both hemispheres. With deserts like the Sahara in the north and tropical rainforests in the center. Its landscapes range from the snow of Kilimanjaro to the savannas of the Serengeti, where elephants and lions roam. Africa's rivers, such as the Nile and the Congo, sustain its people and ecosystems. Culturally, it is a tapestry of over 1,000 languages and traditions. To understand Africa is to understand the origins of humanity itself. Turn now to Asia, the largest and most populous continent. Stretching from the deserts of Arabia to the frozen plains of Siberia, Asia contains the highest mountains, like the Himalayas, and the deepest lakes, such as Lake Baikal in Russia. Its history is equally vast, with ancient civilizations in Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and China shaping the world. Economically, Asia has become a powerhouse, with cities like Tokyo, Shanghai, and Dubai leading in technology, trade, and luxury tourism. Yet Asia is also deeply spiritual, the birthplace of Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and countless philosophies. In every sense, geography, culture, and economy is a continent of extremes and contrasts. Europe, though smaller in area, has had an outsized influence on world history. Its rivers, like the Danube and Rhine, Its peninsulas and its navigable seas made it a hub of exploration, commerce, and empire. The Industrial Revolution began here, spreading new technologies across the globe. Culturally, Europe is a mosaic of languages, cuisines, and traditions. From the Mediterranean warmth of Italy and Greece to the northern fjords of Norway. Tourism flourishes in its cities, from Paris and Rome to Prague and Vienna. Its landscapes are diverse vineyards, Alps, plains, and coastlines, all within relatively short distances. Europe illustrates how geography, when paired with innovation, can shape global destiny. North America stretches across varied climates, from the Arctic tundra of Canada to the tropical beaches of the Caribbean. It contains some of the largest freshwater lakes on Earth. Like the Great Lakes and immense mountain ranges, such as the Rockies and Appalachians. Economically, it is home to some of the world's largest economies, with industries ranging from high technology in Silicon Valley to energy production in Texas and Alberta. Culturally, it blends indigenous heritage with waves of immigration from every continent, creating a dynamic and ever-evolving society. Tourism thrives here too, from the luxury resorts of Hawaii to the historic landmarks of Washington, D.C., and the natural wonders of Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon. South America is a continent of rhythm and color. The Amazon rainforest dominates its northern half, producing not just biodiversity, but also influencing the global climate. The Andes Mountains, stretching down its spine, give rise to unique cultures and breathtaking landscapes. Cities like Rio de Janeiro and Buenos Aires pulse with life, music, and culture. Economically, South America's resources are vast, from coffee and cacao to oil and lithium. Yet, it is also a continent of contrast, luxury in some areas, struggle in others. Tourism is drawn to its beaches, rainforests, ancient ruins like Machu Picchu, and natural wonders such as Iguazu Falls. South America feels both untamed and deeply human, a place where geography and culture intertwine. Oceania is often overlooked, but it is a continent of islands. Stretching across the vast Pacific Ocean, Australia, its largest landmass, offers deserts, reefs, and unique wildlife found nowhere else: kangaroos, koalas, and the Great Barrier Reef. New Zealand dazzles with mountains, fjords, and Maori traditions, blending natural wonder with cultural richness. The smaller island nations of Oceania, such as Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga, offer coral atolls, turquoise waters, and traditions passed down for centuries. Economically, tourism and natural resources play central roles. Oceania reminds us that even the smallest places on Earth can hold immense beauty and cultural depth. Finally, Antarctica, the coldest and driest continent, is unlike any other. Covered almost entirely in ice, it holds about 70% of the world's fresh water, locked in glaciers. Few people live there permanently, but scientists from many nations maintain research stations, studying climate, wildlife, and the mysteries of the frozen world. Penguins and seals thrive where humans cannot, and the silence of Antarctica is perhaps its most powerful feature. Though inhospitable, it teaches us about resilience, global climate systems, and the fragility of Earth's balance. Together, the continents are like chapters in a book, each telling a different story, but all part of the same narrative. They are separated by oceans, yet connected by trade, travel, and technology. Each continent holds treasures, challenges, and lessons, offering not just facts to memorize, but experiences to imagine. As we drift deeper into this soothing journey, let us move next into the climates of Earth, those invisible patterns of temperature, rainfall, and wind that shape every landscape, every ecosystem, and every human settlement. Close your eyes and imagine the shifting moods of the planet. The Earth breathes in cycles of heat and cold, wet and dry, producing what we know as climates. These climates are not merely background conditions. They are the rhythm to which life has always adapted. From polar frost to tropical rain, climate defines where people live, what crops they grow, and even how societies evolve. One of the most recognizable climates is the tropical zone. Found near the equator, it is marked by warmth throughout the year and abundant rainfall. Here lie the rainforests of the Amazon, the Congo, and Southeast Asia, lush green lungs of the planet, filled with biodiversity and natural beauty. The equatorial climate supports vast populations in countries like Indonesia, Brazil, and Nigeria. Economically, these regions thrive on agriculture, forestry, and tourism. From luxury eco-lodges in Costa Rica to the spice markets of Kerala, the tropical climate has always fascinated travelers and scientists alike. In contrast lies the arid climate, the domain of deserts. The Sahara in Africa, the Arabian Desert, and the Atacama in South America illustrate how life can persist even under the harshest of conditions. Here, rainfall is scarce, yet human creativity has carved out civilizations. Oases, trade routes, and desert cities reveal resilience. Today, deserts are also landscapes of modern innovation. Solar farms in the Middle East transform endless sunshine into renewable energy, while desert tourism offers experiences of silence, starlight, and luxury camps beneath endless skies. Step into the temperate climate, a zone of balance, found in much of Europe, North America, and parts of Asia. Temperate climates bring 4 distinct seasons: the blossoms of spring, the warmth of summer, the golden leaves of autumn, and the quiet snows of winter. These climates foster agriculture, dense populations, and cultural diversity. The world's major economic hubs, New York, London, Paris, Beijing, all sit in temperate zones, benefiting from fertile soils and navigable rivers. Here, climate shapes culture, festivals tied to harvests, cuisines built on seasonal crops, and travel destinations like vineyards in Italy or ski resorts in Switzerland. Highland climates, found in mountainous regions, defy latitude, even near the equator, such as in the Andes or the Himalayas. Altitude cools the air. Highland climates often create microworlds, where one valley may be lush and another arid. Human life adapts in unique waste areas, farming in Peru, yak herding in Tibet, and tourism in alpine towns. These regions are not just geographic curiosities, but economic engines, offering minerals, fresh water, and global attractions. The luxury of a mountain chalets, the adrenaline of ski resorts, and the calm of secluded monasteries all stem from the climate of elevation. Polar climates, both in the Arctic and Antarctica, represent the extremes. Here, ice dominates the landscape, and temperatures rarely rise above freezing. Yet, life persists: polar bears in the north, penguins in the south, and resilient indigenous cultures like the Inuit. Economically, polar climates are significant for fisheries, scientific research, and increasingly, discussions about climate change. The melting ice opens new shipping routes and raises global questions about sustainability and cooperation. Tourism also reaches these icy edges, with expedition cruises offering rare glimpses of glaciers and wildlife. Though remote, polar climates are intimately connected to the global economy, culture, and even technology. Then there are Mediterranean climates, found in limited yet celebrated areas: California, Chile, South Africa, and of course, around the Mediterranean Sea. These regions are blessed with mild, wet winters and hot, dry summers, creating perfect conditions for wine, olives, citrus fruits, and coastal tourism. The Mediterranean lifestyle, centered around food, leisure, and luxury travel, owes everything to climate. Even Hollywood and the Riviera glow beneath this golden sun. For centuries, Mediterranean climates have drawn settlers, artists, and travelers, blending natural abundance with human creativity. Monsoon climates offer yet another rhythm: seasonal rains that dictate life in South Asia, parts of Africa, and Southeast Asia. The arrival of the monsoon is celebrated and feared. It replenishes rivers, fills rice paddies, and sustains economies. At the same time, heavy floods remind us of nature's power. Cities like Mumbai and Bangkok adjust their infrastructure and culture around this annual cycle. For tourism, the monsoon creates dramatic landscapes, waterfalls at full flow, and spiritual journeys to sacred rivers. Economically, it remains the lifeblood of billions, shaping agriculture, trade, and culture across nations. As we consider climate, we also realize their fragility. Human industry and technology now affect weather patterns, altering rainfall, melting ice, and intensifying storms. Climate change is not just a scientific issue, but a geographic reality, reshaping coastlines, shifting biomes, and redefining how and where we live. Education and global cooperation become essential in this conversation, for the climates of today shape the cultures and economies of tomorrow. Think of the Earth as a symphony, each climate zone playing its instrument. The tropics hum with rain and heat. The deserts whisper with wind and silence. The temperate zones shift in rhythm. The highlands echo with cool clarity. The poles remain frozen notes of endurance. The Mediterranean sings of abundance, and the monsoons drum with seasonal power. Together, these climates create the diversity of life and experience that makes Earth so extraordinary. As you drift further into this calming exploration, let us move next into the biomes of Earth's living tapestries that take climate as their canvas and paint upon it the forests, grasslands, and deserts that cover our world. Now that we have traced the great patterns of climate, let us walk deeper into the living landscapes that grow upon them. These are the biomes, vast ecosystems defined by climate, soil, and life. If climate is the Earth's breath, then biomes are its body, forming forests, deserts, grasslands, wetlands, and tundra. Each biome is like a chapter in a storybook, rich with history, culture, and natural wonders. The tropical rainforest biome is one of Earth's most famous treasures. found in the Amazon, the Congo Basin, and Southeast Asia. These forests are alive with extraordinary biodiversity. A single hectare can hold hundreds of tree species, thousands of plants, and countless insects. Birds and mammals, from toucans to jaguars, move through this living maze. Beyond beauty, these rainforests provide the oxygen we breathe, regulate rainfall patterns, and store carbon. Economically, they sustain millions of people who rely on forest resources. From Brazil's nut harvesters to Indonesia's spice farmers, tourism thrives as well, with travelers seeking ecolodges, wildlife safaris, and river expeditions. The rainforest is both a wonder of nature and a lesson in sustainability. From lush forests, we step into grassland, seas of golden grasses swaying under the wind. Grasslands take different names across the globe: the prairies of North America, the steppes of Eurasia, the pampas of South America, and the savannas of Africa. These open spaces are vital for agriculture, supporting wheat, corn, and rice, the staples of human diets. They are also homes to great migrations: zebras, wildebeest, and antelope crossing the African savannas, while bison once thundered across the American plains. Grasslands are landscapes of food, economy, and culture, tied to cattle ranching, farming, and even luxury tourism through safaris and ranch stays. Desert biomes, though often seen as barren, are full of surprises. From the Sahara to the Gobi, deserts cover 1/5 of Earth's land. Here, life is adapted to extremes: cacti storing water, camels traveling for days, and nomadic cultures finding ingenious ways to survive. Economically, deserts are rich in minerals, oil, and solar energy potential. Technology transforms them into hubs of renewable energy, while tourism flourishes in desert cities like Dubai, Marrakesh, and Las Vegas, where luxury and culture meet sand and stone. The desert teaches resilience, economy, and adaptation. At higher latitudes, the tundra biome stretches across the Arctic and alpine regions. This treeless landscape is defined by permafrost, a frozen layer of soil that shapes everything above it. Summers are brief, yet wildflowers bloom, and animals like caribou, Arctic foxes, and snowy owls thrive. Indigenous cultures, such as the Sami in Scandinavia and the Inuit in Canada, have lived in balance with the tundra for centuries. The tundra is also a critical player in the global climate system, storing carbon and reflecting sunlight. Tourism to tundra regions is growing, with travelers seeking the northern lights, polar wildlife, and experiences of remote, untouched wilderness. Wetlands form another essential biome. Though often overlooked, wetlands like the Everglades in Florida or the Pantanal in Brazil are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth. Marshes, swamps, and mangroves act as nurseries for fish, protect coasts from storms, and filter water naturally. Economically, wetlands support fishing industries, tourism, and even luxury real estate that values waterfront landscapes. Culturally, they inspire myths, art, and traditions tied to water. They are Earth's kidneys, quietly cleansing and sustaining life. Then, there are temperate forests, the biomes that feel most familiar to many people in Europe, North America, and East Asia. These forests change with the seasons, bursting with blossoms in spring, offering cool shade in summer, glowing golden in autumn, and falling silent in winter snow. They are home to deer, foxes, bears, and countless bird species. Economically, they provide timber, tourism, and cultural inspiration. The romantic poets of England, the painters of Japan, and the storytellers of Germany all found their muse in these woodlands. Today, they remain places of travel, education, and reflection, offering both luxury retreats and ecological balance. The boreal forest, also known as the taiga, circles the northern hemisphere like a green crown, stretching across Canada, Russia, and Scandinavia. It is the largest forest biome on Earth, dominated by conifers, spruce, pine, and fit provides timber, paper, and habitats for moose, lynx, and wolves. Economically, boreal forests are vital, but culturally, they are mysterious and ancient. Fairy tales, folklore, and legends often grow out of these deep, dark woods. For modern travelers, they offer escapes into wilderness cabins, opportunities for winter sports, and views of the northern skies. Together, these biomes form a living mosaic. They shape cultures, economies, and civilizations. Rice grows in wetlands, wheat in grasslands, olives in Mediterranean forests. Nomads roam deserts, herders live in tundras, and coastal peoples thrive in mangroves. Technology now allows us to study these biomes from satellites and preserve them through conservation. Yet, they remain fragile. Deforestation, climate change, and pollution remind us that the balance of these systems is delicate. Think of biomes as Earth's quilt. Each patch is different, yet they stitch together to keep the planet warm and alive. As you rest and drift, imagine walking from the rainforest to the tundra, from the desert to the wetlands, each step revealing a new face of nature's story. In the next part, we will leave ecosystems and move into the geography of water rivers. Lakes and seas that connect continents, sustain cultures, and inspire myths. Water is life. It flows, it gathers, it nourishes, and it shapes. If continents are the bones of our planet, then rivers, lakes, and seas are its veins and arteries, carrying vitality from one place to another. They are not just physical features. They are cultural backbones, economic engines, and spiritual sources for civilizations. In this chapter, we drift with rivers, pause by lakes, and sail upon seas, exploring how they connect humanity to nature and to one another. Let us begin with rivers. The Nile, flowing northward through 11 countries, is often called the lifeblood of Egypt. For over 5,000 years, it has provided water for crops, transportation for trade, and a foundation for one of the world's greatest civilizations. The Nile's annual floods once deposited fertile silt that made Egypt the breadbasket of the ancient world. Today, massive projects like the Aswan High Dam and the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam highlight both the opportunities and challenges of sharing a river across borders. Economically, it powers hydroelectricity, sustains tourism through Nile cruises, and still irrigates fields of cotton, wheat, and sugarcane. Spiritually, the Nile remains woven into Egyptian identity and mythology, linking past and present. The Amazon River, stretching across South America, is the world's largest by discharge. It pours more water into the ocean than the next 7 largest rivers combined. The Amazon is more than water. It is the heart of the world's largest rainforest, home to uncountable species and cultures. Indigenous peoples have thrived here for millennia, navigating its currents in dugout canoes, living in harmony with the cycles of flood and drought. Today, the Amazon is central to global climate balance, absorbing carbon and producing oxygen. Its waters also sustain industries, fishing, transportation, and tourism. Luxury river lodges, eco-cruises, and wildlife expeditions draw travelers from across the globe, turning natural wonder into economic opportunity. The Yangtze River, the longest in Asia, flows through China like a spine connecting ancient and modern worlds. From the glaciers of Tibet to the busy port city of Shanghai, it touches nearly 500 million people. The Yangtze is essential for rice production, trade, and culture. It is also home to the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric project on Earth, symbolizing how technology and nature intertwine. For centuries, poets, artists, and philosophers have drawn inspiration from its misty cliffs and serene waters. Today, luxury river cruises allow visitors to witness this blend of history and modernity firsthand. Across continents, rivers tell similar stories. The Ganges in India is sacred to millions, a river of faith, ritual, and renewal. The Mississippi in the United States represents both commerce and culture, flowing through jazz cities and farming heartlands. The Danube connects Central Europe, carrying music, trade, and history along its banks. The Mekong sustains millions in Southeast Asia, while the Rhine powers Europe's economy and industry. Rivers are not simply geography, they are culture, economy, tourism, and identity. Now, let us pause by lakes. The Caspian Sea, technically the largest lake in the world, is so vast it feels like an ocean. It touches 5 countries and is rich in oil, gas, and fisheries. Lake Baikal in Siberia is the deepest lake on Earth, holding about 20% of the planet's unfrozen fresh water. Its waters are so clear that stones are visible even at great depths. Economically, it supports fishing and tourism, while culturally, it is revered by local communities as a sacred place. Africa's Great Lakes, including Victoria, Tanganyika, and Malawi, are lifelines for millions. They provide fish, water, and transport, and they shape regional economies. Lake Victoria, for example, sustains one of the world's largest freshwater fisheries. Meanwhile, the North American Great Lakes, bordering the United States and Canada, form the largest freshwater system on Earth. They are vital for shipping, trade, and industry, and they support cities like Chicago, Toronto, and Detroit. Tourism flourishes here too, with waterfront resorts, luxury cruises, and cultural festivals. High up in the Andes, Lake Titicaca is the world's highest navigable lake. Straddling Peru and Bolivia, it is surrounded by myths of the Inca civilization, who believed it to be the birthplace of the sun. Even today, indigenous peoples live on floating reed islands, maintaining traditions that are centuries old. Travelers seeking culture, nature, and history find it a unique destination where luxury hotels meet ancient heritage. Finally, the seas. The seas are the great connectors of continents, shaping trade, exploration, and culture. The Mediterranean Sea cradled between Europe, Africa, and Asia, was the highway of ancient civilizations. Greeks, Romans, and Phoenicians all thrived along its shores. Today, it remains a hub of culture, tourism, and economy. Luxury yachts drift beside ancient ruins, while cities like Barcelona, Athens, and Istanbul thrive as global travel destinations. The Caribbean Sea is another world-famous region, with turquoise waters, coral reefs, and island cultures blending African, European, and indigenous influences. Economically, it thrives on tourism, from cruise ships to luxury resorts. Nature flourishes here too, with vibrant marine biodiversity protected in reserves and parks. Other seas hold different kinds of significance. The Red Sea is a diver's paradise, its coral reefs among the most vibrant on Earth. The Baltic Sea connects northern Europe, serving as both a trade route and a cultural corridor. The South China Sea, one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, is vital to the global economy. Even smaller seas, like the Black Sea or the Adriatic, hold unique roles in regional culture, trade, and history. As rivers meet lakes and lakes meet seas, they form networks that sustain civilization. They allow agriculture to flourish, cities to rise, economies to thrive, and cultures to spread. Technology now monitors these waters from satellites, tracking their flows and managing their resources. Yet, they remain fragile. Pollution, overfishing, and climate change threaten their balance. Think of Earth's waters as its song, flowing endlessly, shaping lands, carrying life. As you imagine drifting down a river, gazing across a lake, or sailing upon a sea, remember how water connects us all. In the next part, we will turn from water to mountains, those vast stone cathedrals that rise above the clouds, shaping climate, culture, and wonder alike. Mountains rise like timeless guardians of the earth. They are more than rocks and ridges. They are symbols of endurance, of mystery, and of cultural identity. From the snow-covered Himalayas to the volcanic peaks of the Pacific Ring of Fire, mountains shape not only the land, but also the lives, economies, and cultures of the people who live among them. Tonight, let us climb slowly and gently through the world's great mountain ranges, uncovering their essential geography, facts, while keeping the tone soothing and dreamlike. We begin with the Himalayas, stretching across 5 countries: India, Nepal, Bhutan, China, and Pakistan. They are the highest mountains on Earth. Mount Everest, standing 8,849 meters tall, is the tallest point on the planet, attracting climbers from around the world. Yet beyond the daring ascents and tales of adventure, the Himalayas provide something more vital: water. Their glaciers feed major rivers such as the Ganges, Indus, and Brahmaputra, sustaining nearly 1.5 billion people. Economically, they shape agriculture, tourism, and even hydroelectric projects. Spiritually, they are revered in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other traditions as sacred spaces closer to the heavens. Next, let us travel west to the Andes of South America, the longest continental mountain range in the world. Stretching for over 7,000 kilometers through 7 countries. The Andes are home to towering peaks, active volcanoes, and fertile valleys. The Andes shaped the Inca Empire, whose remarkable cities like Machu Picchu, still inspire awe today. Economically, the Andes remain vital, rich in resources like copper, silver, and gold. They are also a hub for agriculture, with potatoes, quinoa, and maize cultivated on ancient terraces. For tourism, the Andes offer luxury train journeys, breathtaking hiking trails, and cultural immersion with indigenous communities. Crossing over to North America, we find the Rocky Mountains. These peaks, stretching from Canada down to New Mexico, form one of the most iconic landscapes of the continent. National parks like Yellowstone, Banff, and Rocky Mountain National Park attract millions of visitors annually. Economically, the Rockies support industries from mining to tourism, while culturally, they are embedded in the mythology of the American West. Ski resorts like Aspen and Banff transform mountain slopes into centers of luxury tourism, combining natural wonder with modern comfort. In Europe, the Alps hold a different character. Rising across 8 countries, they are not the highest range, but they are perhaps the most accessible and iconic. The Alps are a hub for winter sports, summer hiking, and luxury travel. Cities like Geneva, Innsbruck, and Chamonix thrive on mountain tourism. Economically, they also provide hydropower and agriculture, with alpine meadows sustaining cattle that produce famous cheeses. Culturally, the Alps are deeply woven into art, music, and folklore, from mountain yodels to fairy tales. Africa's mountains carry unique significance. Mount Kilimanjaro, a solitary volcanic peak in Tanzania, is the tallest in Africa at 5,895 meters. Its snow-capped summit, rising above the savanna, is one of the continent's most iconic sights. Kilimanjaro symbolizes both adventure and fragility as its glaciers shrink due to climate change. The Ethiopian highlands, sometimes called the roof of Africa, cradle ancient cultures and unique ecosystems. The Atlas Mountains of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia shape not only climate and agriculture, but also culture, as Berber traditions flourish in their valleys. Elsewhere, unique mountains capture imaginations. Mount Fuji in Japan is not only a volcano, but also a sacred symbol of beauty and endurance. Its near-perfect cone has inspired countless artworks, poems, and pilgrimages. In Australia, Uluru, though not tall, is a massive sandstone monolith rising from the desert. Sacred to Aboriginal peoples and deeply symbolic of heritage and spirituality. Beyond their beauty, mountains are critical to human survival. They act as water towers of the world, storing snow and ice that melt to feed rivers. Nearly half the world's population relies on mountain water for drinking, irrigation, and energy. They also provide biodiversity, with alpine ecosystems hosting rare plants and animals adapted to extreme conditions. Economically, mountains are sources of minerals, forests, and agriculture, while also serving as engines for tourism and recreation. Technology now plays a role in protecting mountains. Satellites track glacial retreat, drones survey ecosystems, and climate scientists study how warming affects high-altitude regions. The health of mountains is deeply tied to global climate stability, making their conservation a global priority. Culturally, mountains inspire awe and storytelling. Myths from Greece's Mount Olympus to Tibet's Mount Kailash depict peaks as homes of gods. Modern literature and film continue this tradition, portraying mountains as places of trial, transformation, and wonder. They are not just physical features, but also metaphors for human endurance and aspiration. Mountains, like cathedrals, rise into the sky as if reaching toward the divine. They are spaces of silence, beauty, and power. Whether viewed from a luxury train, a remote village, or an airplane window, they remind us of the scale of nature and our place within it. As we leave these soaring heights, let us descend gently into the next chapter, where we will explore climates and biomes, the great tapestries of life that spread across the planet. From deserts to rainforests, from tundra to savanna, we will see how the Earth's patterns of climate create environments that shape culture, economy, and biodiversity alike. If mountains are the Earth's cathedrals, then climates and biomes are its living canvases, painted with forests, deserts, grasslands, and icy tundras. To understand geography fully, one must explore how climate determines where life thrives, where cities grow, and where human culture finds its rhythm. Tonight, let us drift gently across the planet's biomes, tracing the way temperature, rainfall, and latitude shape our world in ways both obvious and invisible. Let us begin with the tropical rainforest biome, which hugs the equator. These forests, like the Amazon in South America, the Congo in Africa, and the forests of Indonesia, are lush, humid, and bursting with biodiversity. They cover less than 10% of the Earth's surface, yet they contain over half of the world's species of plants and animals. Economically, rainforests are crucial for resources like timber, fruit, and medicine, but they are also irreplaceable in regulating climate by absorbing vast amounts of carbon dioxide. The culture of people who live within them, from the Yanomami of the Amazon to the Pygmy groups of Central Africa, is deeply tied to the rhythm of the forest, blending survival with tradition. From rainforests, we move into savannas, those vast, open landscapes of grasslands dotted with trees. Africa's Serengeti is the most famous, home to lions, elephants, and wildebeest. The savanna biome balances wet and dry seasons, creating one of the most dramatic displays of animal migration on Earth. Economically, these grasslands support tourism, agriculture, and pastoral lifestyles. Culturally, they inspire art, music, and storytelling, reflecting the close bond between people and the great animals they share the land with. Traveling north or south, deserts stretch across continents. The Sahara in Africa is the largest hot desert, so vast it is comparable in size to the United States or China. Yet deserts are not empty. They are alive with plants like cacti and acacias, and with cultures that thrive despite harsh conditions. The Tuareg people of the Sahara and the Bedouins of the Arabian Peninsula have adapted over centuries to desert life, shaping economies through trade routes that once connected empires. Deserts also hold treasures of oil and minerals, making them economically important today. And while they appear dry and barren, they remind us of resilience, life finding a way in the harshest of places. If deserts represent extremes of dryness, the tundra shows us extremes of cold. Found in the Arctic Circle and high mountain regions, tundra landscapes are frozen for most of the year. Yet, in short summers, they burst with color as mosses, lichens, and wildflowers bloom. Economically, tundras are rich in resources like oil and gas. Though their extraction often sparks debates about environmental balance, indigenous groups such as the Inuit have lived harmoniously in these regions for centuries, developing unique technologies like igloos, sleds, and traditional clothing that allow survival in extreme cold. Between these extremes, we find temperate forests. Europe, Eastern North America, and parts of East Asia are rich in deciduous forests, where trees like oak and maple shed their leaves in autumn. These regions are where many of the world's great cities grew, including Paris, New York, and Beijing. Economically, temperate forests provide timber, farmland, and space for human settlement. While culturally, they inspire poetry, painting, and folklore. Think of fairy tales set in dark European woods. They are landscapes that humans have called home for millennia, shaping both economy and imagination. Let us not forget Mediterranean climates, found not only in southern Europe, but also in California, Chile, South Africa, and parts of Australia. This climate is characterized by dry summers and mild, wet winters. It is perfect for growing olives, grapes, and citrus, making it the birthplace of famous cuisines and wines. Economically, these regions are centers of luxury tourism, where culture and climate combine to create a lifestyle admired worldwide. The Mediterranean climate has shaped economies, diets, and entire civilizations from ancient Rome to modern-day California wine country. Then, there are grasslands, known as prairies in North America, pampas in South America, and steppes in Eurasia. These fertile lands have become some of the most important agricultural regions in the world, feeding millions through wheat, corn, and livestock. Historically, these plains were home to nomadic cultures like the Mongols, whose mobility shaped empires, and two Native American tribes who followed the great buffalo herds. Economically, grasslands remain breadbaskets of the world, central to both food security and global trade. The polar ice caps of Greenland and Antarctica form a biome all their own. They are the coldest, driest, and most remote environments on Earth. Yet they are critical to the planet's climate system. The polar ice regulates global sea levels, reflects sunlight, and influences weather patterns across continents. Though no permanent human settlements exist in Antarctica, international research stations its frozen landscape. Economically, its value lies not in resources, but in knowledge, scientific research that helps us understand climate change, glaciology, and the delicate balance of Earth's ecosystems. Biomes, while categorized by scientists, are not just scientific concepts. They are living realities that define travel destinations, tourism economies, cultural identities, and even political priorities. Luxury resorts in the Maldives depend on coral reef biomes, while ecotourism in Costa Rica thrives on tropical forests. Economically and culturally, these environments shape global patterns of wealth, culture, and innovation. Technology has given us new ways to monitor and understand biomes. Satellites track deforestation, drones study animal migrations, and climate models simulate the future of deserts, tundras, and forests. Education and global cooperation aim to preserve these delicate systems, reminding us that protecting biomes is not only an ecological duty, but also an investment in cultural and economic futures. Climates and biomes show us that Earth is not uniform, but beautifully varied. They reveal how nature adapts and how humans, in turn, adapt to nature. They remind us that geography is more than maps, is life itself, patterned across the globe in endless diversity. As we leave these vast natural tapestries, let us prepare to enter the next theme, the great cities of the world. In the following chapter, we will explore how geography has guided where people build their greatest urban centers, how climate influences city design, and how culture, economy, and technology transform landscapes into metropolises. Cities are the beating hearts of human geography. They are not simply places where people live. They are centers of power, culture, technology, and economy. Yet, no great city stands alone. Each owes its existence to geography. Two rivers, coasts, fertile plains, trade routes, and climates that allowed people to gather, build, and thrive. Tonight, let us drift through some of the world's greatest cities, tracing how their geography shaped their destiny, and how they, in turn, shaped civilization. Let us begin with Cairo, the largest city in Africa and the capital of Egypt. Cairo lies on the banks of the Nile, the world's longest river. This location is no accident. For thousands of years, the Nile provided water, fertile soil, and transportation. Ancient Egypt's entire civilization grew from its predictable flooding cycles. Cairo remains tied to this geography today. Economically, the Nile supports agriculture and trade. While culturally, the city is a bridge between Africa and the Arab world. Cairo's climate is hot and dry, yet the river ensures survival. Its location near the Nile Delta also positions it close to the Mediterranean, linking it to trade networks that stretch across continents. Moving eastward, we find Mumbai, India's bustling economic capital. Mumbai sits on a peninsula along the Arabian Sea. Its deep natural harbor made it ideal for trade, first under colonial powers and later as an independent nation. Today, it is India's largest port city, home to industries from finance to film. Culturally, Mumbai is a crossroads. Its geography brings people from across India, mixing languages, religions, and traditions. Economically, its proximity to sea routes has turned it into a global hub of business, while its tropical climate shapes everything from monsoon rains to urban architecture. Next, let us pause in Istanbul, a city that uniquely bridges to continents, Europe and Asia. Geography gave Istanbul its destiny. The Bosporus Strait connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and whoever controls this passage controls trade between East and West. For centuries, empires fought for Istanbul. Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans. Its culture is therefore layered with influences from Christianity, Islam, Europe, and the Middle East. Economically, it is a hub for shipping, tourism, and trade. Even today, its geography keeps it at the center of global politics and commerce. Crossing the Atlantic, we arrive at New York City. Its geography is a story of opportunity. Located at the mouth of the Hudson River, its deep natural harbor and access to the Atlantic Ocean made it a gateway for immigrants trade, and finance. Ellis Island welcomed millions of newcomers seeking new lives, while Wall Street grew into the financial capital of the world. Culturally, New York is a mosaic shaped by geography into a city of diversity. Its cold winters and humid summers reflect the temperate climate of eastern North America, while its skyscrapers are a testament to human ambition overcoming physical space constraints. Economically, its location ensures constant flow of goods, people, and ideas. In South America, let us explore Rio de Janeiro. Few cities are so defined by natural beauty. Its geography is dramatic. Beaches like Copacabana and Ipanema, mountains like Sugarloaf, and the vast Atlantic Ocean. Yet geography also brought challenges. Narrow strips of land between mountains and coastlines shaped Rio's development unevenly. Its tropical climate makes it lush, but also vulnerable to heavy rains and landslides. Economically, Rio thrives on tourism, culture, and natural resources. Culturally, its geography has inspired music, art, and festivals like Carnival, which attract millions. Now, let us turn to Tokyo, the world's largest metropolitan area. Its geography lies along Japan's Pacific coast, where fertile plains meet the sea. Tokyo's location gave it access to fishing, agriculture, and trade routes. Yet it is also vulnerable, sitting on tectonic boundaries prone to earthquakes. Despite this, Japan transformed Tokyo into a global economic powerhouse, combining resilience with innovation. Its culture, shaped by both isolation and international contact, blends ancient traditions with futuristic technology. Economically, Tokyo's location ensures it remains one of the world's leading financial and technological centers. Not all great cities are coastal. Take Moscow, deep inland in Russia. Its geography gave it security, lying far from borders and invasions. It sits along rivers that connect it to other Russian territories, making it a hub of transport and power. Its cold continental climate shaped its architecture with onion domes designed to withstand snow. Economically, Moscow thrives as a political and cultural capital, drawing wealth from Russia's vast natural resources. Its geography ensures both challenges, harsh winters, and opportunities as it anchors the Eurasian heartland. Africa offers us Lagos, Nigeria's megacity. Located on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, Lagos began as a small fishing village and grew into one of the largest cities in the world. Geography blessed it with a port which fueled trade first in the colonial exports. Its tropical climate is hot and humid, challenging infrastructure, yet supporting fertile soils nearby. Economically, Lagos drives Nigeria's economy, linking Africa to global markets. Culturally, its location has made it a magnet for migration, creating one of the most diverse and dynamic cities on the continent. Cities, at their core, are mirrors of geography. River valleys gave rise to ancient cities like Babylon and Memphis. Coastal harbors birthed modern powerhouses like Hong Kong and Singapore. Mountain valleys nurtured unique cities like Quito in Ecuador, perched high in the Andes. Each city tells a story of humans adapting to their environment and in turn reshaping it through culture, economy, and technology. Great cities are also tied to luxury and tourism. Paris is defined by the river Seine. Its geography creating both beauty and trade routes. Venice survives on lagoons. Its geography, unique but fragile. Dubai rose from desert sands, using oil wealth and coastal access to reinvent itself as a center of global luxury and innovation. Each example shows that cities are not random. They are written by rivers, coasts, climates, and landscapes. As we drift further in our journey, let us reflect. Geography explains not only why cities exist, but why they flourish. It is no coincidence that civilizations rise in fertile valleys, or that ports become centers of trade. Geography is destiny, and cities are the clearest evidence of that truth. In our next part, we will turn away from cities and back toward nature, exploring how natural wonders, mountains, waterfalls, and unique landscapes become global treasures. They shape not only economies and tourism, but also our sense of awe, reminding us that geography is not only practical, but profoundly beautiful. There is a part of geography that transcends maps and numbers. It is the part that takes our breath away, the landscapes that inspire legends, poetry, and art. These natural wonders are not just sights to see. They are the product of deep geological time, climatic forces, and the persistent shaping of the earth itself. Tonight, let us gently wander through some of the world's most iconic natural wonders, tracing how geography created them and how humanity has embraced them as treasures of culture, economy, and tourism. This immense chasm, carved by the Colorado River over millions of years, is a living textbook of Earth's history. Its colorful rock layers reveal nearly 2 billion years of geological time. From a tourism perspective, it is one of America's most visited sites, drawing travelers from around the world who come to gaze into its vast, silent depths. Economically, it fuels hotels, guided tours, and conservation projects. But beyond economics, the Grand Canyon is deeply spiritual. Native peoples have long regarded it as sacred, seeing in its vastness a connection to creation itself. Now, let us fly across the ocean to Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth. Standing at 8,849 meters, Everest is the ultimate symbol of geographical extremes. It is part of the Himalayas, a mountain range formed when the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. This collision continues today, slowly pushing the mountains higher each year. Everest's geography is not only physical, but cultural. For Nepal and Tibet, it represents both challenge and pride. Economically, Everest brings climbers, trekkers, and tourists, contributing significantly to local economies. Yet, it also poses risks. Extreme cold, avalanches, and thin air make it one of the harshest environments for human life. Still, the mountain continues to call explorers, symbolizing the eternal human desire to reach for the highest point. Moving from peaks to waterfalls, straddling the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, locally known as the smoke that thunders. These falls are created by the Zambezi River plunging into a narrow gorge. The spray rises hundreds of meters into the air, visible from miles away. Its geography is tied to basalt cliffs and ancient volcanic activity, shaping the river's course. Economically, Victoria Falls drives tourism, safaris, and adventure sports, while culturally, it has long been a place of spiritual importance, making it one of the most beautiful natural landscapes on Earth. Across the Atlantic lies the Amazon rainforest, sometimes called the lungs of the planet. This vast biome stretches across 9 countries, with the Amazon River running through its heart. Geography explains its scale. The region's tropical climate, with abundant rainfall and heat, creates unmatched biodiversity. Economically, it provides timber, minerals, and agricultural land, though overuse threatens its delicate balance. Culturally, indigenous peoples depend on it for survival, carrying centuries of knowledge about plants, animals, and sustainable living. Globally, the Amazon regulates climate, producing oxygen and storing carbon. It is both a natural wonder and a vital system for life on Earth. Another marvel lies beneath the ocean, the Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia. This is the world's largest coral reef system, stretching over 2,300 kilometers. Geography shaped it through warm ocean currents, sunlight, and millions of years of coral growth. The reef is home to thousands of species fish, turtles, sharks, and more. Economically, it supports tourism, fishing, and education. Yet, it is also fragile, threatened by climate change, ocean acidification, and pollution. The reef reminds us of the delicate balance between nature's beauty and human responsibility. Let us now journey to the deserts, where geography reveals wonder in starkness. The Sahara, the largest hot desert on Earth, stretches across North Africa. Its geography is shaped by shifting sand dunes, rocky plateaus, and rare oases. Despite its harshness, the Sahara has long been a corridor of culture and economy, with ancient caravan routes connecting Africa to the Middle East and Europe. Culturally, it has inspired stories of endurance and survival, while economically, its vast solar potential is now being tapped for renewable energy projects. Its geography is both ancient and futuristic. Iceland offers a different kind of wonder: geothermal landscapes shaped by volcanic activity. Here, glaciers, volcanoes, and geysers coexist. The island sits on the mid-Atlantic ridge, where tectonic plates diverge, creating constant volcanic activity. Economically, Iceland harnesses this energy, powering homes with clean geothermal heat. Culturally, its landscapes inspire myths of fire and ice, reflected in sagas and folklore. Tourism thrives here, with visitors drawn to hot springs, northern lights, and volcanic craters. Iceland's geography is both dramatic and sustainable, showing how humans can live in harmony with powerful natural forces. In Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro rises as a solitary peak, not part any range. Its snow-capped summit stands above Tanzania's savannas, creating a striking contrast. Kilimanjaro is a stratovolcano formed by tectonic activity in the Great Rift Valley. Its glaciers are shrinking due to climate change, making it both a natural wonder and a fragile warning. Economically, it draws climbers and trekkers, supporting local guides and communities. Culturally, it is revered, often appearing in art, songs, and even literature, such as Hemingway's famous story, The Snows of Kilimanjaro. Let us pause at another marvel: the Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis. Unlike mountains or rivers, this wonder is not formed of rock or water, but light itself. It occurs when solar particles collide with Earth's atmosphere near the poles, creating shimmering curtains of green, red, and purple. Geography explains it. The auroras follow Earth's magnetic field, appearing most strongly near the Arctic and Antarctic circles. Economically, they fuel winter tourism in Norway, Finland, Iceland, and Canada. Culturally, they are steeped in myth, often seen as spirits, omens, or gifts from the gods. These wonders, diverse as they are, share one truth. Geography creates beauty through time and force. Mountains rise from colliding plates. Rivers carve valleys. Ice shapes glaciers. Sunlight fuels reefs. Even deserts hold beauty in their silence. For humans, these wonders provide not only resources, but also meaning. They anchor traditions, economies, and dreams. We continue. Let us remember that natural wonders are fragile. They are shaped by slow geological time, yet vulnerable to rapid human change. Conservation, sustainability, and respect are as much a part of geography as rivers and mountains. By protecting these wonders, we preserve both beauty and survival. We'll shift from wonders of nature to the forces that shape our daily lives, the world's diverse climates and biomes. From the icy tundras to the humid tropics, geography explains why we live, farm, and travel where we do. Every part of our planet tells a story through its climate. The rhythm of seasons, the balance of rainfall and sunshine, the length of winters and summers, all of these patterns shape where humans settle, what crops we grow, and how civilizations develop. Geography teaches us that climate is not simply weather, but a larger, long-term system, a tapestry woven by latitude, altitude, winds, and oceans. Tonight, let us move slowly through Earth's great climates and biomes, seeing how they define both nature and human life. Let us begin with the tropics. Stretching across the equator, the tropical climate is hot and humid year-round, with little variation in temperature. This climate is home to the lush rainforests of the Amazon, Congo, and Southeast Asia. In these regions, rainfall is abundant, fueling immense biodiversity. The tropical biome is one of abundance, where towering trees, countless insect species, colorful birds, and rare mammals coexist in complex webs of life. Economically, tropical climates are central to global agriculture, producing coffee, bananas, cacao, sugarcane, and rice. Culturally, life here is often tied to the rhythm of monsoons, river floods, and the constant cycle of planting and harvest. Now, let us move north and south to the subtropics, where climates shift to savannas and deserts. The savanna is marked by grasslands, dotted with trees, supporting immense animal life. Africa's Serengeti is the quintessential savanna, where elephants, lions, and wildebeest roam. Economically, savannas provide grazing land, tourism through safaris, and agricultural opportunities where rainfall permits. Yet just beyond the savanna, deserts emerge, such as the Sahara in Africa or the Atacama in South America. These dry biomes are shaped by descending air currents that prevent rainfall. Life here is sparse, but highly adapted. Camels, cacti, and nomadic peoples who have learned to navigate vast stretches of sand and rock. Though deserts seem empty, they are full of stories. Ancient trade caravans, hidden oases, and new potential in solar energy, which could make them future hubs of global power. Traveling further, temperate climates reveal themselves as balanced zones of the Earth. These regions, found in much of Europe, North America, and East Asia, are defined by 4 seasons: warm summers, cold winters, and moderate springs and autumns. Here, agriculture flourishes. Wheat, corn, vineyards, and orchards thrive in temperate soils and climates. Economically, temperate regions are powerhouses of global trade, education, and culture. Cities like Paris, New York, Tokyo, and Berlin sit within this climate zone, showing how moderate weather fosters dense urban settlement. Culturally, temperate climates have inspired art, music, and traditions tied to seasonal change harvest festivals, spring celebrations, and winter rituals. But geography also teaches us of harsher climates. The polar regions, both Arctic and Antarctic, are defined by ice and extreme cold. Here, sunlight may vanish for months, replaced by long nights, only to return in bursts of constant daylight during summer. These biomes are home to specialized species: polar bears in the north, penguins in the south, seals, whales, and hardy seabirds that rely on frozen waters and shifting ice. Economically, the polar regions provide fisheries, research stations, and untapped resources of oil and minerals. Yet they are also at the center of climate change, with ice sheets melting, sea levels rising, and ecosystems shifting faster than ever before. Culturally, indigenous Arctic peoples, such as the Inuit, have adapted to this harsh biome with traditions of hunting, storytelling, and survival in some of the most extreme conditions on Earth. Between the temperate and polar lies the subarctic and tundra. The tundra biome is cold, treeless, and dominated by permafrost. Summers are short, with mosses, lichens, and shrubs covering the ground. Despite its seeming barrenness, the tundra is alive with migrating caribou, Arctic foxes, and birds that come to nest during brief summers. Economically, tundra regions are rich in natural resources like oil and natural gas, though their extraction raises ecological and cultural challenges. Human settlements here are sparse, but indigenous groups, such as the in Scandinavia, have thrived for centuries, herding reindeer and weaving traditions into the land. Highland climates add another layer of complexity. Found in mountain regions, these climates vary dramatically with elevation. A single mountain can contain multiple biomes, from tropical forests at its base, to temperate woodlands on its slopes, to alpine tundra near the summit. Kilimanjaro in Africa, the Andes in South America, and the Himalayas in Asia are perfect examples. Economically, highlands often provide water through rivers that begin as glacial melt. They support terraced agriculture, producing crops like potatoes, barley, and tea. Culturally, mountain regions inspire myths of God's dwelling in the peaks and serve as places of retreat, meditation, and pilgrimage. The Himalayas are sacred in Hinduism, while the Andes are central to Andean cultures, with rituals tied to the mountains as living beings. Let us not forget the Mediterranean climate, a unique and beloved biome. Found in places like southern Europe, California, Chile, and coastal Australia. It is marked by warm, dry summers and mild, wet winters. This climate supports olive groves, vineyards, and citrus orchards, shaping cuisines that are now celebrated worldwide. Economically, Mediterranean regions thrive on agriculture, tourism, and luxury travel. Culturally, these climates have been cradles of civilization, from ancient Greece and Rome to modern global hubs. The mild beauty of Mediterranean weather has inspired art, architecture, and lifestyles tied to outdoor living. Meals by the sea and the timeless rhythm of sun and breeze. Each biome is a world within a world. Rainforests teem with life. Deserts whisper of silence and endurance. Temperate regions offer balance, and polar zones speak of resilience. Geography teaches us that human civilization is not separate from these systems, but deeply tied to them. Our economies, our cities, even our traditions and beliefs are shaped by climate. As climates shift with global warming, these biomes remind us of the importance of adaptation. Just as life has always adjusted plants growing in deserts, animals thriving in cold, so too must humans adjust to protect the balance. The patterns of climate are not only natural forces, but also guides for sustainable living. In the next part, we will turn our gaze from the climate to the oceans, the vast blue highways of Earth. Oceans connect continents, carry trade, fuel economies, and regulate climate. They are not just empty water, but living, breathing systems that define our planet. If continents are the bones of our planet, then oceans are its blood, covering more than 70% of Earth's surface. The oceans are the great regulators, connectors, and sustainers of life. They are, at once, ancient and ever-changing, shaping the climate, economies, and cultures of every nation, whether coastal or landlocked. Tonight, we will drift slowly through the waters of Earth, seeing how they define geography in ways both seen and unseen. The first truth of oceans is their immensity. The Pacific Ocean alone spans more area than all the land on Earth combined. It is so vast that sailors for centuries spoke of it as both a frontier and a mystery. Economically, the Pacific is a highway of trade, carrying goods between Asia and the Americas, while also hosting islands of staggering diversity, from volcanic archipelagos to coral atolls. The Atlantic Ocean, smaller yet equally crucial, connects Europe, Africa, and the Americas. It has been the stage of exploration, colonization, and commerce, shaping the global economy for centuries. The Indian Ocean, rich with monsoon winds, ties together Africa, South Asia, and Australia, long serving as a corridor for spices, silk, and culture. Meanwhile, the Arctic Ocean and Southern Ocean, wrapped in ice, remind us of Earth's extreme regions once inaccessible, now opening new pathways as ice melts, changing global trade and geopolitics. But oceans are not only about size, they are the great climate machines of our world. Through currents like the Gulf Stream or the Corosio, oceans carry warm waters across thousands of kilometers, softening winters in Europe and fueling monsoons in Asia. Without oceans, Earth would swing between extremes of heat and cold. Instead, the oceans breathe, absorbing carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen, and balancing the atmosphere. They are the quiet custodians of climate stability. Geography also shows us the wealth of life that oceans hold. Coral reefs, like those of Australia's Great Barrier Reef, are rainforests of the sea. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, they support a quarter of all marine life. Economically, they are treasures of tourism and fisheries, attracting millions of visitors while sustaining local economies. Yet they are also fragile, threatened by warming seas and acidification. Beyond the reefs, open waters host vast migrations whales, traveling thousands of miles. Schools of fish forming living rivers beneath the surface. Sea turtles returning faithfully to their nesting beaches. Every coastline, from Iceland's rugged fjords to Indonesia's emerald archipelagos, is shaped by the ebb and flow of tides. Culturally, oceans have inspired human imagination like no other feature of geography. For Polynesian navigators, the Pacific was not a barrier, but a pathway, guiding them from island to island with stars, winds, and waves. For Europeans, the Atlantic opened an age of exploration, bringing wealth and tragedy in equal measure. For coastal communities everywhere, the ocean is livelihood, fishing, sailing, shipbuilding, and also myth. Stories of sea gods, mermaids, and monsters fill our traditions, echoing humanity's respect and fear of the deep. Oceans are also the engines of global economy. More than 90% of international trade moves by sea. Vast container ships glide along established routes from Singapore to Rotterdam, from Shanghai to Los Angeles. Ports become lifelines of global commerce, each one a node in the vast network of globalization. Economically, oceans provide not only trade, but also resource, fish, for billions of people, oil and natural gas from beneath seabeds, and minerals hidden in deep sea vents. Technology increasingly turns to the oceans for energy, with wind farms rising offshore and tidal power being tested as a renewable source. Yet geography also reminds us of the dangers oceans bring. Tsunamis, born from earthquakes beneath the sea, can sweep away entire coastlines in minutes. Hurricanes and cyclones, fueled by warm waters, strike with destructive force, reshaping communities and economies. Rising sea levels now threaten low-lying nations and great cities alike. From the Maldives to Miami, oceans, for all their gifts, also carry risks, reminding us that balance with nature is essential. Still, the beauty of oceans is undeniable. The sight of endless horizon, the calm of waves lapping at shores, the power of storms. Oceans hold a timeless allure. They invite travel and exploration, luxury cruises, and humble fishing boats alike. They are both playgrounds and workplaces, places of meditation and hubs of economy. As we end this journey through geography, from continents and climates to cities and oceans, the lesson is clear. Geography is not just maps and facts. It is the story of how Earth shapes humanity and how humanity, in turn, shapes Earth, from the deserts to the rainforests. From icy tundra to coral reefs, from mighty rivers to infinite seas, geography is the quiet thread that links us all. For those listening in the calm of night, perhaps ready for sleep, let this journey remind you that wherever you are, city or countryside, island or mainland, you are part of a vast, interconnected world. The mountains breathe, the oceans flow, the climates shift, and through it all, human life continues in rhythm with the planet. Thank you for joining this soothing voyage through 60 essential geography facts. If you enjoyed this exploration, you may wish to like this video and subscribe, but only if it brought you value. And I would love to know, where are you listening from? Share your country, your city, and the time of night or day. Geography is more than facts. It is connection, and your presence here is part of that story.